The UMP40, also known as the Universal Machine Pistol 40 Smith & Wesson, is a 4-star SMG T-Dal that's only available from Operation Deep Dive event supply crates, or is guaranteed from the 777th crate. Heckler & Koch began work on the UMP in the 1990s with the aim to replace the ever-popular and reliable MP5. The UMP platform of SMGs was to be lighter and cheaper to manufacture than the MP5, making use of polymers and plastics, compared to the mostly metal body of the MP5. By 2000, H&K put the UMP into production, advertising the SMG to the United States law enforcement agencies and military branches. H&K believed that having the UMP available in 45 ACP, a favorite of the Americans, as well as the popular 40 Smith & Wesson, would entice the different agencies and branches of the military to adopt the UMP over the MP5. The MP5 outsold the UMP, however, with the MP5 largely remaining unreplaced. Much like other H&K firearms, the UMP fires from a closed bolt, increasing accuracy, which is appreciated in law enforcement, given the combat scenarios they often encounter. The blowback operation of the UMP partially negates this accuracy increase, however, unless firing in semi-automatic. Unlike the MP5, the UMP platform was primarily designed to fire larger pistol calibers, 45 ACP and 40 Smith & Wesson particularly, as the U.S. military, law enforcement, and agencies tend to use one of the two. This resulted in the UMP45 and UMP40 respectively, with the UMP9 also being produced as European nations tended to use the 9x19mm Parabellum more. On the topic of 40 Smith & Wesson, the cartridge in particular was developed after the 1986 FBI Miami shootout, where 7 FBI field agents attempted to arrest William Maddox and Michael Platt, who were suspected of committing a series of violent crimes in the Miami area, and resulted in agents Benjamin Grogan and Jerry Dove being killed in action, as well as the 2 suspects. The FBI looked to semi-auto pistols chambered in 9x19mm or 45 ACP, as their standard issue weapon was a Smith & Wesson 38 Special revolver, firing the 38 Special FBI load, a 158-grain semi-wad cutter hollow point. At some point during testing, the unit chief of the FBI Firearms Training Unit, John Hall, decided to include the 10mm auto cartridge. Despite the test showing that the 10mm auto cartridge was in the ballpark of what they were looking for, the FBI decided instead to contract Smith & Wesson to downsize the 10mm auto cartridge so that it would meet their medium velocity specification, as well as designing and producing a firearm that uses this new cartridge. Collaborations between Smith & Wesson as well as Winchester created the 40 Smith & Wesson cartridge, and the Smith & Wesson Model 4006. In 2015, however, the FBI announced that they were returning to the 9x19mm cartridge. The UMP platform, despite not being as popular as the MP5, still sees extensive use, especially in the United States, with the U.S. Border Patrol and Pentagon Force Protection Agency being known to use the UMP40. The UMP is a blowback-operated closed-bolt SMG that fires the 9x19mm Parabellum, 40 Smith & Wesson, or 45 ACP cartridge from a 10, 25, or 30-round detachable box magazine, firing at 600 to 700 rounds per minute, out to a range of 65 to 100 meters. In her base character art, drawn by Renata Z, 40 wears a black zip-up dress with a tall collar, underneath an open, field gray jacket with black interior, and black sleeves, backpack with radio pouch that contains a radio, and bright yellow strap, an ID card hanging off the bottom of her jacket, a black ribbon hairband, black tights, black thigh belt on her upper right thigh, beige boots, and exoskeleton on her left leg that is attached at the hip, knee, and ankle. She has her UMP40 slung over her right shoulder with a suppressor attached. She also has star pupils. Her wish-protecting Maiden of Shadows art, drawn by Star, has 40 wear a black and white marching band uniform with a black collar and chest, light green ribbon around her neck, white and black ribbons at her waist, a large green ribbon behind her, green and black ribbon tying her hair, black tights, white dress shoes with ribbons, the same thigh belt from before but green, and a snare drum with green suspenders and a green ribbon with stars that she holds the drumsticks for. Klein's Space Prelude, drawn by an unknown artist, has 40 wear a bright red marching band uniform top with gold tassels, buttons, black cuffs, and red shawl with white interior, a black skirt with yellow accent, and the 404 Squad logo on it, shiny black ribbon tying her hair, black thigh highs with gold stripes, black high heel leather boots, and a massive bass drum with the 404 logo in the middle and a drumstick in her left hand. Finally, her Moon River outfit, drawn by Umo, has 40 wear a loose-fitting white shirt underneath an olive green and cream white button-up jacket with pocket and yellow stripes, a light green headband, smartwatch on her left wrist, 2 tickets in her right hand, light green bag with white roses in it, a black tag that says UMP40 on it, black yoga pants, and beige boots with black laces and soles. In her voice lines, voiced by Emi Uema, 40 is very playful.
UMP40 ただいま参上時代遅れのやつ全部やっちまおうラジャー手伝ってあげるこれで性能抜群指揮官今日の秘書は UMP40 だよちゃんと覚えてね値をよーく見てなさいよ日光浴ねたった今また日焼けした ?MP5? なんで助けに来んの散々いじめたのに指揮官ねえねえ鬼ごっこしよう嘘だよ今度海に連れてって日焼け止め塗ってよ新しい仲間 ?MP5 あんたかしら指揮官今日は何のご用これから日光浴に行くので嘘やったーみんなに言っとくこれから指揮官は値のものだはぁはぁはぁ
40's main role is buffing her evasion or damage. Her tiles only buff SMGs, giving them a massive plus 500% crit rate. She's best placed on tiles 4 or 5, but can be placed on any tile if you don't mind losing up to 2 of her tiles. 40's skill, Etching Overload, at level 10, passively increases her evasion by plus 10%, but decreases damage by minus 5%, every 2 seconds, stacking to a max of 5 times for plus 50% evasion, but minus 25% damage. This raises her evasion to 113 and lowers her damage to 20 without equipment. Actively, she clears her passive stacks and starts increasing her damage by plus 30%, but decreases her evasion by minus 25% every 2 seconds, stacking to a max of 5 times for plus 150% damage, but minus 125% evasion. This raises her damage to 68, but lowers her evasion to 0 without equipment. This skill has a 1 second initial cooldown and a 666 second normal cooldown. When fully linked, enhanced, and level 100, 40 has 180 HP per link for a total of 900, consumes 85 ammo and 60 rations, deals 27 damage, has 75 evasion, 14 accuracy, 85 rate of fire, 12 move speed, 0 armor, a 5% crit rate, deals 150% damage on a crit, and has 15 armor pen. The recommended equipment for 40 is her special equipment, the UMP-UX exoskeleton, which is available from drops on stages E2-3, E2-4, E3-2, and E3-4 in Operation Deep Dive. 5-star high-pressure ammo, which is typically available from construction, and a 5-star suppressor, which is also typically available from construction. The UMP-UX exoskeleton gives 40 plus 35 evasion and plus 25% crit damage. The HP ammo gives plus 15 damage, but minus 7 armor penetration. And the suppressor gives plus 20% critical rate and plus 10 evasion. Collectively, this gives 40 plus 15 damage, plus 45 evasion, plus 20% crit rate, plus 25% crit damage, but minus 7 armor pen. This raises 40 stats to 42 damage, 120 evasion, 25% crit rate, 175% crit damage, and 8 armor pen. Her skill now passively raises her evasion to 180 while lowering her damage to 30, and when active, raises her damage to 105 while lowering her evasion to 0. I honestly think that UMP40 is slept on for her utility, and I'm not saying that just because I'm extremely biased because she's my favorite T-doll, if that wasn't obvious. By having 40 as your main tank, with SMGs like Suomi Mod or other damage-dealing grenadiers on 40's tiles, she'll be flying pretty high with evasion in the more extended fights of the late game, as her skill will raise her evasion to about 180, and her tiles give other SMGs plus 500% crit rate, basically guaranteeing crits every hit, making her pretty good for tanking if you have the time and the patience to do so. This evasion tanking is further elevated by her spec, which is worth grinding for her, and maybe her sisters, in my opinion. Sadly, she's drop only from a select few things, that being the crates from the Operation Deep Dive thing, and I also believe she was at one time available in the Gray Zone and potentially was available from past seasonal events, but don't quote me on that. Regardless, top priority to raise. Thank you for watching. Please follow my Twitter and Blue Sky for updates, and please check out my other Arknights and Azure Lane videos as well.